A senior Hezbollah commander falls in an IDF precision strike, sending tremors through a fragile ceasefire. Lebanon's army braces for a dangerous disarmament push, while protests erupt in the streets. The US warns of Plan B if peace fails. But can Lebanon navigate sovereignty, Israeli threats, and Hezbollah's resilience? Or is war inevitable? The fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah faces a new strain after Israeli forces killed a senior operative from the militant group's elite Radwan force. Ahmad Naeem Maatouk was targeted in a strike on the municipality of Sur El Garbia, just north of the Litani River in southern Lebanon. The Israel Defense Forces accused Maatouk of violating the November 27th ceasefire arrangement, claiming he served as operations officer in a Radwan battalion and advanced multiple terror plots against Israel during the 14-month conflict. According to the IDF statement, Maatouk's actions directly violated arrangements between Israel and Lebanon that ended the devastating war. The strike comes as Lebanon's army has been slowly deploying in the country's south, working to dismantle Hezbollah infrastructure with support from UN observers. Under the ceasefire deal, this process was meant to create a buffer between Israeli forces and Hezbollah positions. Meanwhile, Israeli operations extended beyond Lebanon's borders. The IDF confirmed that its forces carried out overnight operations in southern Syria, uncovering weapons and detaining suspects accused of advancing terror activity against Israeli troops. These raids were conducted by the 226th Reserve Paratroopers Brigade under the 210th Bashan Regional Division. The expanding scope of Israeli military action has drawn criticism from a bipartisan trio of US lawmakers who visited Damascus. They described Israel's strikes on Syria as destabilizing and warned that opportunities for peace might be slipping away.
The Syrians are prepared to move forward with Israel to advance peace. It is unclear how long the door to this opportunity will remain open.
Lebanon's military chief is preparing his forces for what he calls sensitive missions as the country faces mounting pressure to disarm Hezbollah by year's end. General Rodolphe Haikal told his top commanders that
the army is approaching a delicate stage during which it will carry out sensitive missions and will take all the steps needed to make these missions successful, taking into consideration the preservation of civil peace and internal stability.
But behind the official statements lies deep concern within Lebanon's military establishment. Security sources in Beirut revealed to The National that Haikal has at one point threatened to resign over the disarmament process.
The army is not happy with the process, and Brigadier General Rodolphe Haikal has at some point threatened to resign. He wants the government to pursue a comprehensive agreement and avoid putting the army in a direct confrontation with the group.
The army's reluctance stems from the enormous challenge it faces. While Lebanon's military fields about 80,000 troops, Hezbollah claimed before the recent war that it had more than 100,000 fighters and commanders, backed by a sophisticated Iranian-supplied arsenal. The Lebanese army, crippled by 5 years of economic collapse, operates with aging equipment and no air defenses. US envoys Tom Barrack and Morgan Ortagus have made clear that Lebanon cannot expect any guarantees of Israeli de-escalation before beginning Hezbollah's disarmament. The message was blunt. Lebanon will receive neither financial assistance nor restored relations unless it moves ahead with dismantling the group immediately. Senator Lindsey Graham, considered a close ally of President Trump, delivered an even starker warning during his visit to Tel Aviv.
If we cannot reach a peaceful disarmament solution for Hezbollah, then we need to look at Plan B. Plan B is disarming Hezbollah by military force.
Yet, Israeli military experts question whether Hezbollah is as vulnerable as some assume. Reserve Colonel Jack Nariah, former head of Israeli intelligence in Syria and Lebanon, warned against what he called the illusion that Hezbollah is weakened.
Since November, Hezbollah has reorganized its ranks, resumed manufacturing drones and other weapons, and reaffirmed its decisive commitment to its arms.
Lebanon's Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri has delivered a scathing rejection of American proposals for Hezbollah's disarmament, condemning Washington's failure to secure Israeli withdrawal guarantees. In an interview published Friday, Berri expressed deep frustration with US envoy Tom Barrack's performance, saying,
"He has brought us the opposite of what they had promised."
According to Berri, Barrack's recent meetings with Israeli officials produced a devastating message.
There will be no Israeli withdrawal before Hezbollah disarms.
This position directly contradicts Hezbollah's stated conditions for any disarmament discussion. Hezbollah's Secretary General Sheikh Naim Qassem laid out his organization's position in stark terms during an August 25th speech. He declared that the Lebanese government's disarmament decision lacks a charter basis and warned,
"Continuing down this path means the government is not acting faithfully toward Lebanon's sovereignty."
Qassem emphasized that more than half of Lebanon's population stands behind the resistance, united in the defense of the country's sovereignty, people, and territorial integrity.
Any attempt to dismantle the resistance's arms would be equivalent to stripping it of its very soul.
The Hezbollah leader made clear his group's requirements before any disarmament talks could begin. Israel must withdraw from the 5 hills it controls inside Lebanon and stop its almost daily airstrikes that have killed or wounded hundreds of people, most of them Hezbollah members. Berri compared the American proposal unfavorably to Lebanon's troubled history with foreign pressure, calling it worse than the May 17th agreement, a reference to the 1983 deal with Israel that was scrapped in 1984 after mass popular rejection. The mounting pressure has sparked widespread protests across Lebanon, with demonstrators describing Hezbollah's defensive capabilities as essential to the country's sovereignty and security. Since its formation in 1982, Hezbollah has resisted numerous Israeli incursions and forced Israeli military retreats during full-scale wars in 2000 and 2006.